We are live right here at Brooks Landscaping, showing you one of the ways in which we deal with our customers' landscape drainage problem. Now, as you can see, there's a tremendous amount of erosion that would have been coming from this customer's neighbor's yard. And so what we do is we come up with a solution that allows us to be able to use our river rock along with a design that brings in our erosion control fabric and our decorative gravel. So our ultimate solution here, guys, is going to be able to say that the water that is coming through this fence is now going to be appropriated and taken into this drain box. So it's going to go through a river rock type design that allows for it to be able to go down to the path of least resistance, where it's then going to be taken into a drain box that's going to be able to take that water off the backside of this landscape. Now, we got over 100 foot of linear foot piping that we're going to be putting in, and this is going to be called a corrugated pipe. So the difference between a corrugated pipe and a perforated pipe is what we're taking out from a bad installation from a previous landscaper is a perforated pipe has holes in it. A corrugated pipe doesn't have any holes in it. So when you're going with the landscape drainage solution and you're going to be putting the water from the gutter downspout, so you're going to be taking water from a drain box, it's very important that you understand the difference between a perforated pipe and a corrugated pipe. As I said, the perforated pipe is going to have holes in it. It's going to have little slits, and it's usually used for areas like up against the foundation of a home or somewhere where you're going to have standing water. But if you're going to be tying in gutter downspouts, as we're going to be doing on this customer's landscape, then you want to make sure that you're using a corrugated pipe. This is going to be a pipe that doesn't have any holes. This is going to be a solid pipe. And so with this solid pipe, it's going to be able to ensure that the water that's going to be caught in the drain box, as well as that which is going to be coming out of our gutter downspouts, stays within that pipe, goes to a specific fall, and takes itself off a landscape in a specific area. And that's one of the most important ways for you to be able to see for yourself how this design is going to work. Now, in addition to that, as you can see, we're taking all of that water that would have been coming in through this customer's landscape, and we're putting it in a drain box that's going to be able to take the water off the landscape. I'm going to keep you guys updated, because once you see this drainage solution that encompasses the beautiful river rock design, you're going to know without a shadow of a doubt this was a landscape design that was meant to last a lifetime and give this customer a solution that washes their worries away. That's right. We're going to take the water into this particular drain box, take it up under the ground, and it's going to wash this customer's worries away. Now, after doing that, you also have to think about the fact that you have an area that has a tremendous amount of erosion. So when you start thinking about drainage problems, guys, you got to think about the moss. The moss, the erosion, allows you to be able to identify how much you're going to have to put into the landscape. So in this case, we had not that much moss, but the majority of it was coming through this particular fence. Let me show you. Check it out, guys. So most of the erosion that you see on the landscape has to do with the water that's moving from neighbors to neighbors to neighbors to neighbors' yard. That's right. The water would have been moving from multiple different neighbors' yards, starting at the top of the landscape, but that's how the entire neighborhood was graded. So what you have to identify is, if you're on the hillside, you have to find a way to put the water to the path of least resistance and then take it off the landscape. So in this case, the water was piling up on this fence. So with the water piling up on this fence, it became necessary that we came up with a solution that allowed it to go into a drain box. But we didn't stop there. We also have to make sure that the water that's being able to sit up along this fence line, guys, we're able to bring in the beautiful river rock. So that's going to be a size of 6 to 8 inches. So the size of my hand and a little bit bigger. This rock is going to allow for us to be able to easily appropriate the water into the drain box. Now, once we put the water into the drain box, we're then going to be able to take it off the back side of the landscape and give this customer an amazing landscape solution. We're going to be able to bring in a sod that's guaranteed to last. We're talking about a beautiful Zeon Zoysia sod, one that's drought tolerant, shade tolerant, and it's able to take on a tremendous amount of foot traffic. This customer has a tremendous amount of dogs, so what we want to do is make sure that their grass lasts. That's why we're going with the beautiful Zeon Zoysia. Lastly, we're also going to do what I like to call waterproofing the foundation. Up against the foundation, here's an easy way for you to be able to ensure that you never have to worry about the foundation of your home getting into a position where you may find cracking or it may find some type of erosion problem. Come back with the beautiful decorative gravel and erosion control fabric and give that bad boy one good solution for a lifetime. That's what we're going to be doing on this landscape. Here's our beautiful river rock that we're going to be using. Anytime we find water that would have been standing up against a fence, we like to come up with a 2-foot barrier, and we put river rock up against the fence line as a way to add an acquiesce to where our sod is going to be. So this entire area is going to have sod, but this area won't. So we want to make sure that we use our river rock in order to catch that water that's going to be moving to the path of least resistance. And that's just what we do here. But it says that if you're a homeowner and you're purchasing a home, you want to make sure you identify where the water is coming from on a landscape. And then you also want to identify where is the moss, where is the erosion, what's happening on the landscape. In this case, they would have easily identified that they were going to be on the tail end of the water because the creek is right behind this fence. So make sure that you don't live right behind the creek. And if you do, that may explain why you don't have a lot of grass. But the most important part is to identify where your water is coming from. And in this case, the water is coming from the neighbor's yard. And that which is coming from the neighbor's yard, as you can see, they've tried their own drainage solutions, but they haven't tied in the gutter downspouts. That's the biggest problem on this landscape, guys. The gutter downspouts not being tied in has caused a tremendous amount of erosion. As you can see here, zoom in, that gutter downspout right there, that has caused a tremendous amount of erosion on the customer's landscape, but it's also falling to the path of least resistance on this landscape. Plus, you have to think about all the water that's coming from the other neighbor's landscape. So I'm gonna zoom in so you can see. All the water coming in right here comes in through there, but guess what? It's also coming at the top of this fence. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 different houses in which the water is moving through that area as it falls to the path of least resistance. And then now we're going to stop it once and for all by coming up with a drainage solution that allows for us to be able to use our beautiful river rock to be able to appropriate that water into a specific area. And then we're going to take it into a 16-inch drain box and take it off the landscape. So stay tuned, folks, right here at Brooks Landscaping, where we make dirt look good like you never thought we could.